Hey, what's up, you guys? So I don't know if you can tell, but I just woke up. So feels just like I'm doing a vlog again. Making this video because, well, I mean, obviously it's because it's for my regular Friday video, but also because I wanted to run an idea by you guys. And so I'm giving you a lot of power over me because I'm very critical. So by allowing myself to put myself out there and give this power to you to be critical of me, it's a lot for me. So I have always been a writer, as you are well aware, and I enjoy writing books. Now, normally, whenever I write anything, it's always been fantasy novel with a hint of I've always been a fan of romance books, movies, any of that kind of genre, you know, where the geek gets the girl gets the best friend gets, you know, let's just throw all those cliches and movie tropes and book tropes and whatever shit gets in there. Just mix it all up, and I love it. And so normally I've been writing since I was about probably like 7 or 8 maybe, and so I decided that instead of doing the fantasy kind of book, I really wanted to write something different this year in order to reflect of how much I enjoy these kinds of things. So I have decided to write a romantic comedy kind of based novel, and when it's done, I actually want to do something with it, because when I finish something or when I don't finish something, I tend to just let it sit there and it does nothing, collects dust, and then it's a potentially good book or a, you know, novel that just sat there doing nothing. So I want to make this like novel, book, romantic comedy thing, and when it's done, I want to actually send it out. So this is kind of adding on to my Wednesday video where I talked about New Year's resolutions. So I'm actually going to log on my computer and then show you guys a little bit of what I have, and I'm going to read a little bit of it. And now this is just the prologue to the book. It's kind of introducing the main character, whom I have not yet named. But I have a basis for the story, but right now I'm just kind of introducing the main character, kind of introducing like his life before the actual romantic comedy novel setting and trope, you know, story. So I'm going to read this to you, and I'm really nervous, and I just woke up, and so my mind is everywhere at once. Alright, so here's just the beginning. Here's the prologue. Alright, here we go. Also, I have a great 5 o'clock shadow right now, and I'm not going to complain about it because it looks fantastic. Alright. I should have never been born. That's what the doctor used to say. Alright, side note. I wanted for the prologue to kind of include bits and pieces about my life into it, so if you know me, or if you kind of go, oh hey, like that actually used to happen, it's because it did. So just to clear that up, it's not like me in it at all. Like it's pretty much me, but in a different alternate reality is what we'll put it. Yeah. So I should have never been born. That's what the doctors used to say. It put my mother at risk, and she could have left my sisters motherless because she refused to abort me for her own health. Yeah. But she pressed forward, and 6 months later, there I was, 13 pounds and 20.2 inches long. Those are fake. I don't actually know how much I weighed or how tall or whatever I was when I was born. Just a side note. My skin was fair and barely had any hair in my crown. I'm not sure about that either. I'm assuming that because my skin's pretty fair and pale and shit now, it probably was when I was born too. Alright. What little that there was so light, it wasn't even noticeable. If only I could have stayed that way forever. But eventually I grew up as everyone does. Before you know it, I'm in 3rd grade and my skin was pale as the day I came out. The baby that was a little overweight ended up being the skinniest in class. I might as well have just been bone. And I was shortest in the class actually, standing at 3 foot 6 inches. Again, some of it's fake. I actually really was like fucking skinny when I was younger. Like skinny. Like, damn, anorexia though. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was skinny. But it was like healthy for me to be that skinny. Also, I wasn't the shortest. I was short. Like, I won't lie, but I wasn't the shortest. I was never the best looking in class. That honor belonged to my best friend, Dexter Millard. All the girls loved him. Or at least as close to love as someone can get in the 3rd grade. He had short, dark brown hair and even darker green eyes. His skin was bronze and his face square. His jawline was so strong for someone so young. I met Dexter the first day of kindergarten. I'll never forget it. I went into the classroom crying because my mom had just dropped me off. That is actually real. I went and I was bawling because I did not want to leave. I never left my mom before, so I'm kind of liking this video. I won't lie to you. The room was completely white with nothing in it but board games and toys. Dexter was the only kid there. I sat down near the door and the teacher introduced us. He walked over to me with just a small plastic fire truck toy and asked me if I wanted to play. From then on, we had been best friends. He was the only friend I had and the only one I ever thought I needed, as far as my concern. But then I met Tina Bales, and she was my first love. Again. We were in 3rd grade, but God, she was cute. She had the longest chestnut brown hair and the best smile in the class. Her teeth were so straight and white, her petite nose really bringing together the rest of her defined face. It was narrow and long, and her eyes, oh my God, her eyes. They were the brightest blue. It was like looking at the sky. She even had tiny white speckle in her left eye that reminded me of a cloud. Every day, she would talk to me and read to me. Not because I couldn't read, but because I just wanted to listen to her voice all day. It was soft and sweet. That's all I have. Woo! That was kind of terrifying, actually. But, so the actual story is set in, he is 22 years old. Still hanging out with Dexter, who's now married, actually. And, he has 2 other friends. One who's kind of a douchebag, thinks he's better than everyone, but you just kind of love him anyway. But then, I'm kind of going to make him like a rival, almost. Somebody that my character wants to strive to be. He has this amazing girlfriend, and he doesn't really appreciate it, and the main character is just kind of average. Average looks, average job, average everything. Literally nothing about this guy is extraordinary. But he ends up meeting, I'm sorry, okay, my mind's jumbled. Okay, so, and then another friend who is nerdy, kind of brash. You don't really, like, he says what he's thinking, and most of the time what he's thinking is completely wrong, and you have to wonder what is wrong with him. He is offensive and a bit more like me in a lot of ways, whereas the main character that I'm basing off me is more quiet and mature. And so, one night at a bar. Now, both the main character and the brash character, the nerdy guy friend, both of them are virgins. Now, obviously, Dexter isn't. He's married, and this other guy, he has a girlfriend, and he's constantly going about how much sex he's had. So, one day, even though he has a girlfriend, he says, I'm going to go over and talk to them. My character being the polite, not really my character, I'm sorry, the main character being the polite, do everything by the book, says you shouldn't do that because you have a girlfriend who's home, probably missing you because you never tell her where you are. And he goes, whatever, like, fuck her, like, you know, pretty much. So, he says, if I can't do it, then why don't you? And it gets onto this whole thing about how I'm not me. Damn it. Okay, and the main character's like, no, like, I can't do that, like, no, because I'm not that person. But he goes, okay, then why doesn't, and I think his name is going to be Adam, the, like, nerdy character, but I'm not sure. Adam, why don't you do it? Goes over there, does everything completely wrong, and then says, you know, she was like a slut, like, she was already going home with like 7 other guys tonight, that kind of thing. So it kind of initiates this bet between, for the kind of brash, like, dickhead dude. He says, why don't you two have a bet to see who will lose their virginity first? So the whole entire book is about this main character trying to prove this guy wrong because he can do it. He just is too afraid to put himself out there. And it's all about this bet and whether or not he wins this bet, and if he finds the love of his life, or if he just goes and turns into this kind of douchebag who just tries to go and hit it and quit it, or kind of stuff like that. So it takes place over a span of a few months. It's not just like it's not like an eventful one night. It's kind of him maybe going to fall in love with a character that he shouldn't fall in love with, or this character that shouldn't fall in love with him falling in love with him, and he's trying to, so I don't know, it's just going to be a whole entire thing of cliches, and I'm really excited for this idea, because it's something I talked about a lot in 2015, but I thought more in the idea of a short film, so I thought maybe this year I would try doing a novel, because why not? It's been a long time since I wrote, so tell me what you guys think. Does it suck? But comment below, and make sure you guys subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time of the week. Bye!